After nearly 3 decades covering the Buffalo Bills, this guy knows what he's talking about. Welcome to SalSpeak, the place to be for hard-hitting analysis from Sal Maiorana of the Democrat and Chronicle.
Hi everyone, and welcome to SalSpeak on Facebook Live. I am Sal Maiorana, and I am joined today by Leo Roth in our usual Thursday afternoon slot. And Leo, a lot has happened since last week. The Bills...
What happened?
Well, yeah, Leo is not all that impressed by what has happened, but the Bills did hire a new coach on Wednesday afternoon. His name is Sean McDermott. Like Leo, I know nothing about this guy really, outside of some statistics that you can find in his previous stops at Philadelphia and Carolina. But Leo, I mean, I don't know where the Bills were going to go for this coaching search, because the list of candidates that were available this year really wasn't all that impressive to start with. And the Bills made it very clear that they weren't going to open it up like they did in 2014 or 15, whatever, to 10 to 12 guys. So they wanted to really make it a narrow search, and they settled on Sean McDermott, Harold Goodwin, Anthony Lynn, obviously, and the fourth guy I'm forgetting is, who's the fourth guy they have? Oh, Chris Richard from Seattle. That was it. It took a week, and Sean McDermott's their guy. You are not impressed. Why don't you start us off by explaining why you're not impressed?
Well, I guess just you kind of hit it on the head right away, Sal. The pool of candidates, and if you look around the NFL going on right now, the pool of candidates, it's a coordinator's year. The list of fired head coaches wasn't all that impressive, so there wasn't that really a big splash for the Bills to make. But this is what Terry Pegula signed up for when he had enough of Rex, and he says, I'm gonna, it was such a good move to get rid of him. Well, this is what you end up with, a bunch of guys that have never been head coaches, and you're rolling the dice with them. That's why I'm not that impressed, that excited, that anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, he's Greg Williams, he's Mike Mularkey. Yep. He's not even Doug Marrone. Of course, I had familiarity with Marrone being the Syracuse coach, but he's and Doug Marrone had head coaching experience as a college coach. Right? So really, when you say, and this is where he falls in. He falls into that category. Now, I'm hearing all these buzzwords in the last 24 hours, disciplinarian, and he's in great shape. Woo! All right, well, I guess that's the two opposite things of Rex.
That's true.
But what's it all mean, Sal? Really, what does it mean? He is coming into the Death Valley of coaches, and I feel for Sean McDermott. Good for you. Hey, you got your job, and it's a bad one.
He's going to make a lot of money. Obviously, NFL head coaches are paid an exorbitant sum. He won't get. We haven't got the contract details yet. He won't get what Rex Ryan.
He won't get Rex money, but it'd be nice.
$27 million. He'll get a nice paycheck though. But you're right, Leo. I mean, this guy has never been a head coach at any level. He literally came out of college at William & Mary, 1 year as a grad assistant there, and went right into the NFL. He's from the Philadelphia area, and he landed with the Eagles. He was a scouting assistant for a while, and then Andy Reid, who was the head coach for a long time in Philly, must have liked him, and he brought him onto his staff first as a minute assistant, and then he began working his way through the defense, DBs, linebackers, eventually became the coordinator when Jim Johnson got sick and ultimately died. And then he was fired after 2 years, went to Carolina, 6 years as the coordinator. So he really has had, it's been a pretty impressive rise for him, but a guy with no head coaching experience. That was the flag to me that concerns me. And it's similar to Greg Williams. Greg Williams was not a head coach at any level that I can recall. Mularkey.
And I don't think Mularkey was.
Was Mularkey? I'm not sure about Mularkey. He wasn't a college coach, was he?
No.
So this is the third time in the last 15 years they've done this.
You get the William & Mary connection, too. I looked up yesterday. Buster Ramsey and Marv coached there.
Marv coached there.
Mike Tomlin went to William & Mary.
He was a teammate of Sean McDermott's.
Yeah, which is
let's hope.
There.
Let's hope he can follow in Tomlin's shoes.
Is he going to get Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
Again, the man needs a quarterback. He's got 24 free agents to weigh in on that he knows nothing about.
Right.
He's got to work with Doug Whaley, who's already
that's proven to be difficult.
Who's already proven to be a coach killer. You got an owner that really doesn't know anything. So, I mean, obviously, you get your opportunity, you take it. There's only 32 of these jobs. He felt he has worked his way up. He's a candidate. Hey, okay, Buffalo, let's strap it up again. And I just don't. I just don't feel there's any need for any fans to jump in and get all crazy. And
Right.
and tomorrow at the press conference, they'll say all kinds of nice things, and they'll say how great this guy is and organized, and he's a detailed, and he's a discipliner. If I hear the word disciplinarian once more, I'm going to throw up. These are professional football players, athletes. They're not little kids. All this stuff about Rex running a loose ship, you know what? You're accountable. You know what? You want a disciplinarian as your boss when you come to work every day? Every guy, every working man out there. We don't need disciplinarians. You're accountable to yourself and your own pride in your job. I'm tired of this.
I am too, Leo. I don't care about the disciplinarian factor with Sean McDermott. I really don't. I want to know if the guy can coach. Can he change this defense? He's a defensive coordinator. Can he fix the defense? And then most importantly, Leo, well, not most importantly, but certainly 1A and 1B would be, who is his coordinator going to be? Because whatever quarterback they end up with in Buffalo, that offensive coordinator is going to have a humongous job trying to get that guy ready to play, whether it's going to be some fringe, retread free agent that they have to bring in as a bridge to perhaps Cardell Jones, whether it's Tyrod Taylor. Even if I don't think Tyrod's coming back, but even if it's him, can the coordinator come in and get something more out of Tyrod Taylor? That's going to be a huge hire. We've heard talk about Mike McCoy from San Diego, who just got fired as the head coach after 4 pretty unimpressive years.
Yeah.
But he's got a great track record as an offensive coordinator. He's also a hot commodity. Denver's looking at him. I think a couple of the other teams, I think the Redskins are interested in him. So it's going to be tough to get McCoy here. If it falls through with him, Sean McDermott has got to find a guy who can come in and run this offense, because this offense, there are pieces there, Leo. They can run the ball. Their offensive line's pretty good. They have a stud receiver if he can ever stay healthy. If they can get the quarterback, the offense could be in good shape.
They need another receiver.
They need another,
could be targeted in the draft. But again, the quarterback, Sal, and that's, Tyrod Taylor is in limbo right now. He's had his surgery. The target date is March 11th, I believe, that he's got to pass his physical. What doctor is used, we're not sure of. McDermott needs to come in. He's going to have to crunch 2 years of tape on Tyrod. I'm sure he knows nothing of him. They
haven't played.
They haven't played. They've been out of conference. He'll have to crunch the tape. He'll have to take he'll have to take a lot of word from Whaley on this. And then and then if he sees everything he likes, he goes, you know what, I really do like this guy, I think I can do something. And then they have to go, okay, there's a matter of a $30 million contract, right, and all those little things out there that they got. It's a big, big decision.
Well,
but what are they going to do at quarterback? And that's the point. I don't,
who McDermott might want, Leo, is E.J. Manuel. Because you realize the last time these two teams played, it was E.J.'s rookie year. He brought the Bills down for a fourth quarter, last-second comeback victory against Sean McDermott's Carolina Panther defense. So he might be going for E.J. Manuel. What do you think about that idea?
Crap, what have you been drinking this morning?
I'm only joking, folks.
Well, Doug Whaley? Well, now wait, does Whaley push for?
E.J.'s done. He's not going to bring him.
Of course he's done.
He's not bringing
absolutely
E.J.
done.
back.
And E.J.'s done in his mind. E.J. doesn't want to be here either.
No, he wants a fresh start.
And,
and he needs a fresh start.
And I hope he gets it, really. It's not, I don't, and quarterback-wise, it's huge. As a head coach coming in, what are the questions McDermott's been asking? The Taylor thing is the biggest one.
Right.
Defensively, also, Sal, I've been hearing a lot, this is a great hire. He runs the 4-3. Bill's personnel is 4-3. That's not really true anymore.
I think it is, though, Leo.
Well, Rex spent 2 years getting guys. Reggie Ragland is not a 4-3 linebacker, their number 2 pick.
Probably not, right. He's not a sideline-to-sideline
Preston
guy.
Brown's really not a great sideline-to-sideline guy. They don't have the linebackers to play it. They really don't.
I think their defensive line, though, is better suited to the 4-3. That's where I think I think Shaq Lawson and Jerry Hughes are both better off as outside ends on a 4-3 line with Kyle Williams, assuming he's coming back, and Marcel Drace. You're pretty solid up front,
right,
if that's your situation. Linebackers, I think you're right. I think they're going to target linebackers in the mid-level free agency and probably in the draft. Reggie Ragland, I think you can make it work with Reggie Ragland as your middle linebacker.
We talked
Preston
to him
Brown
last,
is a little bit of a. That's
I talked to Ragland last Monday on Cleanout, and he talked about. He goes, I'll do whatever they ask me.
Well, what did he play in college, Ragland? Weren't they a 4-3 team in Alabama?
Well, again, they were a lot of both, but a lot of pro stuff. But he's an inside guy, so he's not really going to be this He's more of he's got the great speed. Now you're going to punk him in here and just kind of limit what he does a little bit.
I think inside linebacker, middle linebacker.
I'm just thinking
it should be an interchangeable.
It should be interchangeable.
You're moving over 3 steps.
I guess I don't want my point being is that I think he runs the 4-3, so it's better. The Bills' problem last year wasn't the defense that Rex ran; it was the inability to tackle in 3 games.
Well, the scheme was a problem, though, Leo. They were never on the same page in that scheme.
The first year was particularly bad.
Yeah, but even this year, they were having trouble. Preston Brown even said it. He said there was a lot of times when they were confused, even this year. Rex's scheme was so multiple and so complex. There's so many things that were part of it. I think these guys did not play on athleticism and instinct. It was all too much thinking, and they stumbled over each other.
And Rex's error was having 3 cooks in the kitchen, himself, his brother, and third. I mean, you didn't know the communication was poor. And that was on Rex as well. These are the things that could have been fixed.
I know.
Without firing the guy.
I'll be very
starting over.
I'll be very interested to see what McDermott does. There's rumors that he's got his linebacker coach at Carolina, some guy named Al Holcomb. Again, who knows who the guy is.
So like make him the coordinator.
But what I like about that though is at least they've worked together. It won't be he's pulling somebody from another system. These guys have a history together if this is the hire at defensive coordinator. That I think would be a good step in the right direction. But again, it all goes back to the biggest hire he has is the offensive coordinator job to me. Let's take a few questions here, Leo, real quick. Raymond Murray says Taylor has to stay at least 1 more year, and besides receivers, they definitely need a new place kicker. Okay, Dan Carpenter most likely will be gone. The problem with Taylor is if you bring him back, it's not for 1 year. It's going to be for 2. Because of the contract structure, you can't just bring him back for the 1 year. It has to be a 2-year commitment to Tyrod Taylor. And if Doug Whaley and the front office has determined that they really don't want to move forward, there's no way they're going to pay him that much money and then commit 2 full years to Tyrod Taylor. That's why I don't think Taylor's coming back, no matter what Sean McDermott thinks about him.
Because he'll be jumping into a new offense. He'll be jumping into new coaches, a new system. So there's a lot of unknowns out there to commit that kind of dollars. Again, it goes back to Pagula wanting to blow this thing up. I
disagree. I still disagree with it. You're right. I mean, I don't know why they had to do it, but I guess it just wasn't working with Rex Ryan. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Pagula would have just said, look, fire your brother and you can stay. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened.
Like a Ralph ultimatum?
The Ronnie Jones and Wade Phillips, right? That's why Wade Phillips walked out the door because he wouldn't fire. That would have, because from all that I've gathered, Rob Ryan apparently was a big problem with this team. Mm-hmm. He came in and basically took over from Dennis Thurman, who had the title of defensive coordinator, but really wasn't. And from what some of the players have said, Rob kind of screwed things up. I find that hard to believe that Rex would let Rob screw it up, because they're kind of this one and the same, aren't they?
I heard the meeting. Well, they're different personalities a little bit too.
But in terms of coaching defense, I think they're kind of one and the same, aren't they?
Yeah, and there was a lot of reports of the meetings were not a good atmosphere. A lot of arguing, a lot of goofiness going on. There was a report of a rift between Hughes and
Rob.
Maybe when they're out having chicken wings and beer, the brothers are gonna, Rex will rue the day that he played the nepotism card and brought him in. I mean, it seemed, it just seemed too simple. It just seemed, gee, my brother needs a job. Okay, and you know what? You just kind of,
Looking back on it, the perception just wasn't a good look.
No,
it really was not a good look. And then the way they failed, the way they did, it made it even worse. It's shown the spotlight even brighter on that particular hire because it was the defensive side that failed.
Everybody, that would have been a great question though, Sal, for, hey, get rid of them. Clean up this staff. Make this thing more streamlined.
27 guys.
Do something.
You could have cut 10 guys and still survived. Mike Tomlin has 10 less assistants, and they're going to the divisional round this weekend.
Well, less voices is not a bad thing.
Let's see. Michael Varner says, you guys will never be happy with anything this team does. If the Patriots hired a new water boy, you would think it was the best move in the league. Yawn. Well, Michael, I don't know how long you followed the train wreck that is the Buffalo Bills, but give me a reason why Leo and I should be impressed by anything they do, or we should be on board with any decision they make, especially when it comes to coach and quarterback. Because over the last 17 years, where exactly has that gotten the Bills? Absolutely nowhere. So I think we have absolutely the right to question this move. I'm not going to crap on Sean McDermott. I know nothing about him. We're going to give him a chance, obviously. But Leo, the Bills have had no track record of finding the right guy. I think we're perfectly within reason to be skeptical about it. Would you agree?
I have no feelings of guilt or shame, but what this reader wants to know. Come on, open your eyes, buddy. Go ahead, buy your season tickets, buy your jerseys.
Sign up for mediocrity.
Go sign up and cheer. It's your right. It's your right. But it's not something that we get paid to do. And our role is to be analytical and to lay the facts out and to say this is what has happened. This is where they're going. And just like you said, the track record for going on 20 years here is very, very substandard. And the problem is that Terry Pegula bought a team and kept everything in place. He bought a losing corporation and kept all the bosses.
Yeah.
Didn't reorganize a darn thing. Left the people in charge, and they're still in charge, and they're still hiring the guys and passing the blame down the line.
It really is baffling. Really, for smart people, which I believe they are, it really is a baffling situation over there. All right, let's see. Palmer Lott says this is a better hire than Rex Ryan, in my opinion. Okay, well, a lot of people don't like Rex Ryan. A lot of people weren't on board with that hiring 2 years ago. I was. Turned out it didn't work out. But, to say that this is a better hire than Rex Ryan, again, nobody knows a thing about Sean McDermott, so don't jump to conclusions. What I will say, though, as the beat writer on this for this team, is that I will not write a negative word about Sean McDermott. I will, like you said, analyze it.
It's not about Sean McDermott.
Learn about him, see what he's done, and then we'll see how it plays out in Buffalo. So I'm not going to write negatively when we go tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow for the press conference when he's introduced. I'm not going to write negative things about Sean McDermott because I have no reason to do that. We'll see as next year plays out and maybe the year after where it goes. But for now, clean slate.
McDermott's got a nice story, worked his way up, ambitious, hardworking. But there's not a successful person out there that's not ambitious and hardworking, particularly in the NFL where it's a dog eat dog and you got to survive. But when they start talking about how he's detail oriented and a disciplinarian, I'm just going to roll my eyes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
those are the least those are the least things you expect.
The other thing I hated
he's organized.
I heard
I hope he's organized.
I heard the Pagulas were impressed by his energy and his passion. Well,
oh, God.
He better have had energy and passion when he's trying to get one of only 32 jobs in the world. So I also hate that characterization. Every one of these guys who goes into an interview is energetic and passionate and is going to blow the doors off.
I'm going to tell you, you want energy and passion. Rex Ryan, what he did to energize the fan base, and I know he had his share of doubters and critics, but it was those people were in the minority. He triggered record season ticket sales for 2 years, paid for his salary. Terry Pegula said thank you.
Yeah, that's $16.5 million he walks out with.
Russ Brandon said thank you. So, and there's something to be said about that, especially for a franchise that had a coach walk out on them. They were in disarray. They needed, so I don't want to sit here and everyone dumping on Rex Ryan either on what a failure he was. This is why we've kind of defended. I've pointed out his shortcomings. You've pointed out his shortcomings. And Sean McDermott's going to have shortcomings.
He probably will. The funny thing is, Rex Ryan leaves town with the best winning percentage of any coach since Wade Phillips, the last guy who took the Bills to the playoffs. So you shuffled him out the door, and again, there were good reasons for it. The way it went down at the end of the year, even at the end, I turned on Rex. After that Miami punt, that was the last straw for me. But time will tell if it was the right move to get rid of Rex Ryan and bring in Sean McDermott, who we know nothing about.
And I know McDermott's got some nice rankings with his defenses in Carolina. Let's not forget what Rex came here with. If you looked at his record when he came here, it was unbelievable. I think it was 10 years of top 10, a Super Bowl ring. I mean, it didn't come better than that. And as a head coach, 2 playoff teams, 2 AFC title losses. It fell apart, but his resume is better than Sean McDermott.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
I don't want people saying that this is a better hire. You might like it better. You might like this guy's personality better. Maybe you're not in for all the
bluster,
the bluster and
boasting.
theatrics of Rex. I kind of thought it was fun.
I enjoyed it. It made our jobs a little bit easier for sure. Yeah. This guy looks like a pretty pretty staid guy.
We're going to be, we're going to be interviewing the Marine sergeant every day. Okay, that's a lot of fun.
No, not really.
Maybe a little bit more lively than Dick Duran, Chan Gailey. Dick Duran and Chan Gailey had names at least.
Yeah, but at least Chan Gailey was a fun guy. He was a good personality. Fun. Dick Duran was a mortician. Right? I mean, it really was.
Oh, yeah, he was tough.
That was brutal. All right, a couple more, and then we're going to roll out of here. If Whaley has been the constant for how long, then shouldn't he be replaced? That's Ed Arding asking that. Well, Ed, believe me, you aren't the only person who's asking that question. Leo, I used the word baffling a few minutes ago, and this situation to me continues to just make my head spin that Doug Whaley still is the man in charge there. Now, the other day when it came up that part of the discussion with McDermott was who would have control over the 53-man roster, and maybe they would share it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The general manager should have control of the 53-man roster. That should be, unfortunately for the Bills right now, Doug Whaley's domain. If they're even bringing it up that they're negotiating that lessens Whaley's usefulness even more. If the Bagulas were even thinking about having these two guys, share the 53-man roster construction, total mistake. Again, why is Doug Whaley here? The Jaguars hired Tom Coughlin to be the boss of the football operation, right? That's what the Bills needed to do. They didn't.
Well,
we got Doug Whaley.
They missed out on Coughlin. And we've talked about this last time, and I've said it. And the fact that Doug Whaley is okay with this tells me he's a guy that doesn't want the job. He doesn't want the responsibility. He doesn't want to be accountable. He doesn't want to own it, so he just wants to get paid. He just wants to play around a little bit. Putting Doug Whaley in charge of this whole thing again, like I wrote in my column after his infamous news conference of a week ago or so. I mean, it's like going back to the same mechanic who never fixes your car. You keep going back to him.
Yeah.
And Terry Pagula needs to wake up.
He does. Rodney Harmon says, Tyrod Taylor is a great quarterback. They gave him no help at wide receiver. Okay, I will say their wide receiver core was terrible this year. Sammy was out half the year. Robert Woods is no more than a number 2. Marquise Goodwin is totally useless. So I get that part of it. However, Leo, to me,
he started finding Clay at the end.
Receivers don't make the quarterback. Quarterback makes the receivers. And Tyrod Taylor, even though he was working with substandard guys, really didn't give them much of an opportunity to succeed, in my opinion. He lacks a lot of the basic things a quarterback in the NFL needs to do. He's not a pocket passer. He is not an accurate passer. He doesn't make decisions quickly enough. He runs tremendously. He is so much fun to watch. He extends plays. He makes great plays with his legs. I'm done with Tyrod Taylor.
His QBR is better than 7 playoff quarterbacks.
Right, because
of his running. Because running factors in
and he doesn't throw interceptions
towards winning.
That helps. He doesn't throw picks, which is a good thing.
So those 2 factors go into your winning quotient.
Right.
How much does the quarterback affect winning? That's the QBR. And that's what those 2 things are important. He runs, and then he doesn't turn it over. Now, in his development, if he ever gets another chance, he's got to take more risks. And that goes back to what the reader is saying here, is that the receivers can make the quarterback a little bit if you give them a chance to make plays.
Well, he's got right.
And you got to, like there's a Mike Williams from Clemson that might come out in the draft if he falls to the Bills. He's a guy that would be a really upgrade to this receiving core, who's got he's got the top of the ladder when it comes to making plays at the highest point. They need guys like that.
They do.
They got the speed with Watkins and his athleticism. If you could get another tall guy, they got to do. I mean, this is on Whaley too. You got to fix this roster.
Someone tweeted me yesterday.
Why do we all think it was? You know what? A lot of us were predicting 8-8, 9-7 for the Bills.
Oh, I predicted 8-8.
Right. So why is everyone so crazy that it didn't work out? The roster is what it is.
I agree. Somebody tweeted me yesterday, Tyrod Taylor, how great he is, and he throws a great deep ball. You know what? He does throw a nice deep ball. However, I looked it up. He completed 7 passes of 40 yards or more this year. 7 of those passes in 15 games. Is that enough to bring Tyrod Taylor back because he runs around great and he throws, a deep ball where they caught 7 balls of more than 40 yards? No, it's not enough for me. I need more from the quarterback, and he doesn't give it to me. All right, last question we'll take. Justin Hausner says, I know it's early, but what's your position for round 1? Well, We've talked about this a little bit. You are a Deshaun Watson guy.
Well, I need a quarterback.
If he's there at 10.
If they can settle on the quarterback, they bring in a free agent. Say they sign Tony Romo, or they brought Tyrod Taylor back. Then for me, it goes from quarterback to wide receiver.
All right, so wide receiver at 10.
Yeah, I know it's high.
It is high,
but
I think you're right. It's a position of desperate need. And whoever the quarterback is going to be, he does need some targets.
Yeah.
You figure Robert Woods is going to leave. Goodwin, who cares? Even if he comes back on a cheap deal, who cares? They need a number 2 receiver.
The other thing would be stud safety.
Safety is big, but I don't think at 10. I think you wait to the second round for the safety.
They got to find somebody back there. Aaron Williams, who's a tremendous individual.
I look at it this way,
I think
Leo.
he's going to retire.
They spent 3 picks in the first 3 rounds on defense last year. They need to
I think they've done their D work with under Rex.
They've got some decent players on that side of the ball. They've got to fix the wide receiver spot. So, and I'm generally not a guy who goes wide receiver that high in the first round, but this team's in a unique situation. They're desperate. They put out a roster this year in some games. You would have sworn it was a preseason game. We're in week 10, and you got preseason players that were on the field at the same time because of injuries, I know, but they've got to upgrade that position. So that's where I would go. I don't think Watson is, to me, I know you're big on Deshaun Watson.
No,
to me, he's Tyrod Taylor 2.0.
I know he's polarizing, but he's bigger than Tyrod. He's more athletic, if you can believe that, and he throws better. He does throw better.
He does, but you know what, Leo?
67% accuracy.
You know what he reminds me of?
And he just tore apart 2 years in a row. He tore apart the best defense in college football.
You know what? He reminds me of Vince Young a little bit. I hope he has a better career than Vince Young went on to have. But if you remember that championship game,
I know it was
when he
Vince
tore apart,
Young, absolutely.
And USC at that point was Alabama.
Was the same.
They were the NFL in college, and he beat them in that game. It was amazing. He goes to Tennessee in the first round, and his career flatlined. He just wasn't. There's a lot of these guys, Leo, that are college quarterbacks.
Oh, I know.
They're like Lamar Jackson's another one, the Heisman Trophy winner. There's no way
that
kid will play in the NFL.
No, but he's completely different than Deshaun Watson.
I agree with that. Watson's a bigger, stronger guy.
Yeah, and he, Watson got my Heisman vote. I just watched him for 2 years. Watching him against Syracuse doesn't say much. Everyone does well against them. I just hope. I think there's a place for him, and more as you read these, as the draft nicks are coming out, and you read the scouting reports, more and more people are hopping on board with Deshaun Watson. You know what? He might go very high in round one. And it might be a big gamble for somebody.
Well, that game is going to probably boost his stock.
Yes,
it will.
Yes. And say he does fall. Say he's there at number 10 for the Bills. Wow, I just go back to all the quarterbacks, and not the first rounders that the Bills passed on, the third rounders and the fourth rounders that they've passed on under Doug Whaley, and
if he's there,
does Terry Pagula know anything about football?
If he's there at number 10, Leo, I don't think I would be on board with the pick, but I would not be in a position to argue that the Bills shouldn't pick him because they're so desperate at that position. And you never know. Deshaun Watson might fool all of us critics who think he can't play the prototypical NFL style. If he's there, I think the Bills should take him.
I think, as crazy as it sounds, Sal, and we'll get back, and I know you spelled out why they shouldn't do it with Tyrod Taylor, but I tell you what, if they commit to Taylor and they pay him the money and they say that's just the way it is, at least they got that question out of the way. And now you can start trying to get better around him.
All right.
Because that is a huge, huge question.
Oh, it's all about quarterback.
And then,
honestly, I didn't care who they hired as the head coach this day.
Yeah,
I didn't care who it was going to be. It still comes down to who the quarterback is, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So
like I've said it many times, there's no coach in the Hall of Fame that doesn't have this Hall of Fame quarterback right alongside him. That's how it goes.
All right, we're going to wrap it up, folks. We hope you enjoyed being here today. Leo and I, we think we're going to Buffalo tomorrow. There's been nothing official, but we're assuming it's going to be the Sean McDermott coronation tomorrow in Buffalo. So I think you're going? We'll both be there? All right, so we'll both be there.
We're going to watch Sean McDermott work out.
Yeah, so enjoy the show today, and make sure you're with us tomorrow to follow our coverage of the Bills' new head coach, Sean McDermott. Thanks for being here, and have a great week.